Welcome to Blockbuster Bums. Kick back your recliner, crack open a beer, and let's talk movies. And today we'll be talking about For Your Eyes Only, the 12th installment of the Bond series, another Roger Moore movie. And this movie was made in 1981. So Roger Moore returns to be Bond. And Justin, you got a synopsis for us?
I do. All right. So we've got James Bond. This time he's dispatched to recover a strategic communications device before it finds its way in the hands of the Russians. Who would have thunk it? Now, when that device that apparently it controls British Polaris submarines, when it goes missing, 007 then joins forces with a vengeful woman and a wealthy hero of the Greek resistance movement to find the lost equipment. And what was it called? Was it ATAC? What was it?
All tack, I believe.
I think it was an ATAC or something. That's what they called it. Not sure if that's a real thing, but it seemed like
Yeah, ATAC is right.
Yeah.
I would guess it's not a real thing.
I'm going to guess so as well.
Hey, all
I would guess even more so that it wasn't a thing then.
I'd also like to point out that you use the phrase vengeful woman, which seems a bit redundant.
And that's what you know. What? Yeah. Yeah.
Her name is Melina, correct?
Melina,
Or
yep.
correct me if I'm wrong there.
Played by Carol Bouquet.
Yes, yes.
Who looked a bit like Liv Tyler, by the way.
I did get that. I saw
Mhm.
that one.
Yeah,
a
I
little
could
bit,
see
huh?
that. I didn't put that
Yeah.
together, but I could see that. Yeah.
Okay, we're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
Actually, like, yeah, you say that.
Well, I think the first thing I wanted to talk about was, I know I brought it up in a couple of episodes, but Moore looks old in this movie. Like he's not fat. He's not like, like, oh my gosh, like he's gotten super out of shape, but his face looks old. Like I think it's the first time you can actually say that.
Yeah, he's finally grown into his elderly CEO body.
Well, I will say this. I dreaded Roger Moore movies, but I love Roger Moore. And I largely love all of his Bond movies to this point. And yet, when he first shows up on screen, you definitely are like, oh, yeah, he looks a little older. Quickly, that fades from my mind. I think that the way he carries himself, the way the way he acts, I can quickly lose myself in it, and the age thing just kind of goes away.
I didn't feel that in this movie because I feel like they repeatedly brought it up with the whole Bibby thing or BB whatever her name is.
Maybe, yeah.
Because like I feel like they're intentionally playing age games with us. And so it makes it very obvious. I mean, she's 16, so I mean obviously she's I don't know, jailbait, I guess, quite literally in one scene.
Yes.
But
It was Europe,
She
though.
kisses
I was
us
gonna
several
say,
times in
what,
the mouth.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
say what country? Like, so yeah.
Baby guy.
But
Eh.
once again, I think what you're saying is like together on screen, you see that contrast and all
Yeah.
that. And yes, to an American mind, it's like, yeah, like it's kind of like,
well, apparently to a British mind because he even says it.
well, yeah, I think it's Western in general.
Yeah, and even like actually, I don't know if it was a rule then, but like they have different rules on like nudity in movies and stuff, and in Britain it was like 16.
Oh,
So that's weird.
That is weird. I agree.
It's very weird. I think it's still a lot now.
I think
That's
the
youngest.
weirder dynamic was the dude and everything that was like funding her Olympic career and ambitions.
Yeah.
Though. That was like, because it's like he was basically just like simping for her.
Well,
Was
she
like,
even
yeah,
said, "I know what you
Yeah.
want."
yeah.
but
And
you
she's
can't,
like,
you know.
you're not gonna get it. And like,
Yeah.
just throw herself down, throw a fit. Like, yeah, clearly a teenager. Like, what are you doing here, dude? Like,
Well, she's even a little immature for a teenager. I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
she literally throws like physical temper tantrums. But
I've seen grown women do the same thing. Like, just
true.
like,
it's gonna be an anti-woman podcast, I guess.
Not the whole time.
I've seen grown men do it too. Like, just,
But I guess
it
my
looks terrible.
I guess my big question is why.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think that
Oh.
I think that this is clearly just an acknowledgement to the audience that yes, we understand Roger Moore isn't a 35-year-old man. Now, frankly, it'd be creepy for a 35-year-old man to be interested in BB too. But this is just yep, guys, we get it. Roger Moore is not a spring chicken.
Yeah, because she had no actual purpose in the entire movie, other than she's a young
Yeah.
kid trying to get with Bond.
No,
And,
that's what I was
More or
gonna say.
less,
I
I thought
wasn't.
she
I
was-
wasn't pointing it
I thought
more
she was
with my
used as
why.
bait, like
Yeah.
majority of the time, because every time I seen her, I was like, all right, where's the trap? Like, cause like even when he goes to the hockey rink and all that, all of a sudden practice is over for her, and then all of a sudden 3 dudes come out like body checking Bond out of
yeah, you have to
nowhere.
assume it's a trap because
Yeah,
I mean,
and then he comes back
kind of
and
belongs to
yeah, and then
that
old
guy.
boy in the car and everything. Like they killed off the Italian really quick in that one. Like
Man.
his little sidekick, dead fast there.
Luigi.
Yeah. And then like even so, like they were saying like on the skis on the slopes and all that. As soon as he left her side and all that, and the German is like already on him
Get
with the
a-
gun and everything. In the
Another
woods.
ski
Like,
battle.
I mean,
look,
I,
she's a bad omen. She's the
She-
woman in the red dress.
I-
Like, just like
I-
you looked like.
I agree with what you guys just said, but when I said why, Mike, why was why are we having a movie where essentially a 16-year-old is chasing Bond around trying to have sex with him?
Yeah,
Like
can't
that-
really
like-
make any
Because it
sense.
is like so overt temptation. Because like I said, it's like a red herring. Like you're looking at the cute little girl who has the hots for an older man. Like you're not supposed to see that this is actually the front for the guy that's like really the bad guy. Like the whole movie.
Well, in the advertising for this movie during that time, they have her along with the other women in the movie, like in bikinis and a very
Yeah.
sexual looking way. And she's,
Yeah, she's
in a lot of
naked in
lists,
the
she is
bed,
considered a Bond girl. which
Yeah.
is-
Well, not how we define it.
I don't know how.
no, it's not how we
Right.
find it.
Like
and
we've updated our
I'd be
definition.
extremely uncomfortable if we were
Like-
even considering.
I hadn't given a lot of thought as to the whys, other than I did just assume, that this was to say, yep, we get it. Roger Moore's not a particularly young man anymore.
I didn't even
And so
think
we're
it
going to
was for
put this
that.
this dynamic in there where we're just recognizing it. But then also, and Alex asking the question made me think of it, maybe it was to lend credence to the idea that a slightly older woman by a decade or so with Melina is a reasonable romantic interest for Moore's Bond.
I like Melina.
You know, now I don't think that it particularly works as a romantic relationship, but maybe, yeah, we're going to brush aside a super young woman with Bond, but hey, you can buy this one because she's a decade older.
Well, were they trying to show that maybe Bond has some sort of morals when he's out there just killing folks?
Sure, he's
Maybe.
not a child molester.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's still supposed to be a gentleman. I mean, like,
He's a gentleman spy, isn't he?
yeah, I mean, he's still supposed to have his morals and values. I mean, yes, first off, he's not just killing folks. I mean, he's killing criminals. He's not
Right.
just, a mass murderer or something. And he does, I mean, he sleeps with a bunch of women, but I mean, like, he's not, even when he's like in trouble, he's always like, like, not just the calm, cool, and collected, but he's also pretty like polite majority of the time. Like it. I don't know. It's just
I think that's a British thing, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
parts of
that's
Britain, I guess, but yeah, like,
Yeah.
just for the most part.
Britain. Canadians. So,
Yeah, I think that it's really important to always remember that he is supposed to be very gentlemanly and debonair and all that good stuff. That's a huge part of what James Bond is.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that maybe I understated it. Like, sleeping with her wouldn't, or not sleeping with her isn't just gentlemanly. I just think it's like, not creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just- yeah.
I don't know.
And he was nice. He offered to buy her an ice cream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
very funny.
No, that was.
Going a little further into that, I think maybe it is kind of more like what you were saying is, you're not okay with this, but are you okay with this one? Because again, her father was probably the same age as Bond.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
it's-
not how he's supposed to be in the book. Like you said, he's supposed to be like 35 around this point. in the books.
37-ish, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but obviously more is older. Maybe you're not okay with the 16-year-old, but are you okay with this 21, possibly 22?
I wonder how old Melina is supposed to be in this.
I don't know how they never say. I always took her for 27-ish.
Well, yeah, that makes more sense. I mean, with her look, that kind of fits. A little,
Yeah.
maybe late 20s.
I liked her character. I like
I
look,
did too.
look,
And she was capable.
look. Yeah, it's like that's why I like look, attitude, and all that. Like, cause she was smart. She'd put on the suit, go down there. She can do the sub and whatnot.
Give her a
She's
crossbow.
assassinating
She's
people
used-
with a crossbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Multiple
just,
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like picking people off when they're going to dive in water and shit.
That was pretty
and-
cool.
That was a great scene.
Yeah,
She's
like,
27.
Oh yeah, you're
You
right
nailed
on.
it.
spot on, Barry. Look at that eye. Like
I know my ladies in their 20s.
Oh.
it's on film, Barry. Like, like- but no, yeah, I really liked her character because, like I said, she wasn't inept. Like we've seen some of the other Bond girls where like they're just there and all that, or like it's when you're
Well,
just like a liability. Like,
I think for a decent part of the movie, there is no like love interest, sexual attraction stuff in it. They're just
It's-
working together for the longest time.
yeah, it's busy because she's on rampage. Like,
Yeah.
they do that quintessential like '80s close up when her parents get like mowed down by the shit
Yeah,
on the boat. Like, yeah, you knew this, and she even said it like, which I love this mentality from a woman. She's like, Greek women always avenge their men. I'm like, I like that. Like, if I got taken out, like you're gonna go kill everybody that got me. Like that's awesome. That's loyalty. Like.
There's something to be said for that.
Yeah, like where's that attitude nowadays? Like rampage. Like
Of course, and maybe this seems a bit out of character for Bond, and I think he was largely just trying to keep her safe. He discourages her, I think, more than once.
Yeah.
About
he
Definitely.
tries to talk her
revenge,
out of it. Yeah,
which I simply took.
he even
as-
quotes the Chinese. Like,
Yeah,
just-
I guess I mostly took that as trying to keep her out of harm's way more than anything else. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he actually is anti-revenge somehow. I don't know.
after he went on his rampage when his wife died, like I don't think he gets to throw stones.
Right. Right.
Like,
And he
it's-
did ultimately unnecessarily seek revenge at one point during this movie itself when he kicked the car over the cliff. You know, that was an act of vengeance.
I loved that scene, but well, just because like the body fell out the car.
Yes.
It was a little thing that made it funny to me, to where it's like one, it fell out, and then just laid there to like, all right, got him, like, and then everybody's just on the cliff. But I did like that when they like Dove got just pushed over. Like
Um,
that's for my sidekick. Like
and I don't know if Alex has a topic he wants to jump to, but I am just curious for everybody. So I thought that was a great scene. It seemed maybe a bit out of character for Moore's Bond to do that.
What?
But I
No.
love the way Moore played it.
I think this goes
And
back.
I
to,
thought it
this
was
is the machine
perfectly
gun.
done
This is
when
the
he
machine
kicked
gun all
Locke
over.
over
Yeah.
the cliff.
And that's what. Well, no, it wasn't just so much that he was like, boom, he kept the little dove pin that was in old boy's hand the whole time.
Yeah, it was.
And then dropped it to him, and that's like, oh, it's like,
This is
and
for
yeah,
whatever Luigi's last name was.
yeah. But I mean, like, that's what I liked about it. But it's the machine gun scene all over again, to where,
Yeah.
like I said, it's real subtle, and it's like, I'm gonna demonstrate and flex power, and I can do it just with this subtle movement.
Yes.
Ferrara.
And it's somewhat unexpected.
Well, it's
to-
it's the
from
butt,
Moore's
it's the
Bond,
butt kick,
but it's-
it's the butt kick. It's like, this is my move.
Will not belittle Moore's abilities here.
I will say
It's
this.
a great scene, I thought.
No, I liked
fantastic,
the scene. I
dramatic,
didn't
lovely.
think it was out of character personally. I thought it was fine. I mean,
Like I said,
Morris had no problem killing in his movies.
he's
We're
throwing grenades in this movie and everything else. Like,
This was an unnecessary kill. That's my thing with it.
oh no, he had to take the dove out.
Right,
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
not bothered- I'm not saying I'm
he's a
bothered
hired
by it.
assassin.
Yeah.
Right, but it
Who just
was cold-blooded murder at that point, though.
No, because he mowed down old girl in front of her on the beach and everything. Her face went to the windshield of his like dune buggy.
That
like,
was unkind. I
yeah,
agree.
like come on now, like. And then everybody comes out in the wetsuits with their little dove symbols and all that. Like,
Well, let me ask you this though:
Like,
would
it was
you
another
have
case
found
of
it
revenge.
unexpected if Bond would have pulled out his PPK and told him, "All right, climb out of there"?
And
I
done
would've
and
been-
done what with
I
him?
don't want that.
Yeah, what's he gonna do?
I know,
Handcuff
hey,
him and take him
walk.
with him?
Potentially, like, "Hey, walk."
No, I want.
Hey, walk and then shoot him in the back of the head.
I want.
no.
I want revenge for old.
No, that's what I'm
girl.
saying.
Now,
Like,
I
what are you
think
gonna do with him?
ultimately
He's
within the confines of a James Bond movie. Something would have happened where Bond had to shoot him, but it wouldn't have been in cold blood because this was cold-blooded murder. He didn't have to bring any further harm to the man at this point. Right?
Yeah, but he's doing that for future
He has a license to kill.
precautions.
That's true.
He has a license to kill.
Or be killed. It's part of that
Yeah.
license.
well. I think if you let a a professional assassin go. You're asking to be
But
killed.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying let him go.
Well, I think that's your only two options. You're either letting him go or killing him
I'll say,
because
I don't
you're
think he
not
could've
arresting
You
him
can
at this.
capture him, sure,
And
absolutely.
do what with him? You're in a country with no help.
I don't think he could have saved him, Barry. He's on the
I'm
edge.
fine with the way the scene
yeah.
went, but I did think that it was somewhat out of this Bond's character. No, I thought it was a great scene, and I liked it a lot.
Here's my thing. If it's out of character, it's out of all the Bond's characters.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't. I mean,
See, I don't see it out of character.
I didn't. Yeah, I said that too. I don't see it as out of character either. But we've. I
If he
mean,
would have done it like really like maliciously and everything, or like said something like vicious or cold and then done it, like. But I feel
It
like,
was pretty cold,
but I feel like
which I liked.
But I feel like, but it was cold.
yeah, because it reminded you of Connery.
Or it would have been better if he was holding the martini and everything while he did it. Just, like, just
Well,
smack-
anyway,
smack
I
the
think
hood of the
it was
car.
it was a great scene, and I like the way I like it when Moore gets that way, because his Bond is somewhat more lighthearted than Connery's Bond, which I'm a fan of that approach. But it's also good to see him just get nasty.
You like it when he takes his job seriously and it's not a joke.
It's never a joke.
It's always
He can
it's
do
always
it-
a joke.
He can do it with a bit of a twinkle in his eye, and I like that.
Oh yeah, Tarzan would disagree, but all right. So in this movie, M is on leave.
Oh yeah.
Also known as Dead.
Yeah, I mean the actor is dead. Yes, but M is on leave, so he gets his mission from. It's the Minister of Defense and the Prime Minister? Is that the two people in the room?
Yeah, I
Something
think
like
so.
that.
Yeah.
And then some taller guy who is kind of a jackass. I don't know
Yeah,
what
he
his
is.
role
They
was.
none of them really treat Bond very nicely in
They're
that scene.
awful to him. He gets blamed for everything.
Yeah, there's a big con. It's like they don't like MI6 or Bond specifically. There's something about it they don't like dealing
Yeah,
with.
they're
Yeah.
politicians. They're trying to cover their ass any way
you
they
can,
can.
You can tell there's
That's a good
some
point.
yeah, there's some dynamic that either like we don't get because like we don't have that or what, but
Yeah, they're not going to go down with the ship. They're still getting paid.
Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
keep their fucking money
That or
going.
they know that Bond's probably one of the. He's uncontrollable.
you're
You
a
can't
pain in
control
my
him.
ass, but you get stuff done.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about the political angle of it, though.
Yeah.
I took it as they had some personal dislike for Bond, but you're right. Given that they are in many ways politicians, I could see them being like always in cover your ass mode and find someone to blame.
And not
Yeah.
only that, they were probably pissed off that they had to do this in the first place and come over here and do double duty for doing single pay.
Well,
They
gotta
don't
think,
like to
too,
do any extra
You're
work.
also talking about like recovering something that like they were spying on the Russians, but weren't spying on the Russians and all that. Now we got to go recover this before they do, type thing. Like it's,
That and there.
I could definitely see how if I was a politician, my butthole would pucker. Like, it's
Well,
like
yeah, and then you're forced to use your best agent, who announces himself to the entire world.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
right on his forehead.
I think there's a case to be made that the entire British government resents James Bond. They know he's the number one agent and he's the best at what he does,
there's no
but they
espionage with
resent him because of how he does it and how he acts.
Yeah, it gets the job
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But there's no espionage with him. There is no, secret in the agent. I'm James Bond.
It's pretty much everybody playing dumb together, and then it's like, we knew the whole time. Like, I know you knew, but like,
Well, it's like almost if you go to like the world of John Wick, he runs around the city killing people, and everybody just goes on about their business.
Yeah.
It's normal.
I got bills to
So
pay.
seeing
I'm not
James
going
Bond
there.
just
Like,
pop up,
he's
it's
not
normal.
killing me. Like,
Yeah.
just like, I don't know.
Accepted.
Yeah.
So I guess that means that the last movie, which was Moonraker,
Yep.
was the last movie we had the actor that played M.
Yeah.
Bernard Lee.
Thank you, Justin. But yeah, so we will have a new M in the next movie, which is Octopussy.
See how that goes. Yeah, I noticed.
And then I think-
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Tom.
you're fine. I didn't even notice. Like, I didn't like the change up of the offices and everything they were in. Like like I said, I don't know. You could tell that they either didn't want to fill that role for this movie specifically, and they waited, or they just tried to see what they could do
I think it
without it.
happened like
I think
last minute.
I
Like,
think
it
he
was-
passed away weeks before they started filming, and
Yeah.
because they actually, I think I mentioned this off air. He was in the script, the actor was, and he was supposed to be in the confession booth, not Q. But when he died, they had to change the script, and that was one of the things he was written out of. They put Q in the confessional booth and not M.
Which I still think works, just because like you can joke with Q and all that. Like I said, like that scene, like it is one of the more lighthearted
Yeah,
parts.
it's
I would say,
excellent.
yeah, it's like
It's one
the-
thing
the
I
whole
will
marriage scene, all
one
that
one
jazz.
thing I will say for Barry's argument is, and I don't know if it has to do with Roger Moore or if it has to do with the writing or if it has to do with just they changed things. I have no idea, but I do think the dynamic between Moore's Bond and Q is better than Connery's Bond and Q.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what it is. I don't know why precisely, because I mean, I don't know if they made a decision as movies like that we're going to change their dynamic, because it's not remotely the same. Like there's a lot more back and forth and joking between the two of them. And when in the first Bond movies with Connery and stuff, there's a lot more. Like Q almost seems like there's a lot of disdain there. Like, you keep breaking my shit. Like, stop. I don't really like you. And with Moore, there seems to be like almost like a back and forth banter.
It's the way it's written. I have no doubt that that's a big part of it. But it's also a lot, in my opinion, down to Moore. It's Moore's portrayal of what he's taking from that jab. Where is he sourpuss, or is he willing to do it with a wink and a nod and just like, Q? And that's how it comes across more, which I think makes it more enjoyable.
And we know you're about the enjoyment.
I am about the enjoyment, and it would be silly not to be. I did want to ask, speaking of enjoyment, so the opening scene's pretty, obviously you guys may hate it, I don't know, with the chopper scene with Blofeld. What do you guys think of that?
I will say this: it's a memorable Bond scene.
Okay.
I mean,
It drops him down.
I can clearly picture it in my head before I watched this movie.
Yeah.
Like I remember that
So
from
is
a
that
kid.
good?
Yeah, I mean it's fine.
I
I think
remember 9/11.
I think it's weird because we haven't seen Blofeld for movies, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Blofeld's here. Oh, he's dead again. Never mind.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
because I thought it was already dealt with.
Right. Well, he'd broken his neck, I think, in Majesty's, maybe.
Well, yeah,
And
but
then they
then we
wanted
killed
to-
him 3 times in Diamonds, and then we
Tom's favorite movie.
and have we seen him since?
I
don't think so.
Well, yeah, I can't say as I recall, but
I mean, we've
I
killed
like
Blofeld
the
at least
appearance.
five or six times in these movies
Yeah.
now.
yeah, you know.
We're not done.
I mean, supposedly killed
Right.
Blofeld. I mean, I don't know that we've ever actually killed him.
But the scene overall, I can tell Ray has something to say about it.
Yeah, Ray's getting excited over there.
Ray started crinkling paper around, so he's
I
got thoughts.
thought it was fucking stupid as fuck.
All right.
You got your biggest villain and you just pick him up with a helicopter and drop him off like you're taking him to the airport.
Well, I've heard why this happened.
It was like a Roadrunner cartoon.
This has to do with the infighting that I think Justin described a fair amount of between,
Broccoli and Salzman.
well, not Broccoli and Salzman, but Broccoli and somebody else. Mick something or other was his last name, like McCloud or Mick something, where he somehow owned the rights to that Blofeld character and was like insistent or something upon its usage. So this was Broccoli's way of saying, screw your Blofeld. I don't need Blofeld. So maybe it makes a little more sense now.
which
in that
which I will say
context.
this: good for Broccoli.
Yeah,
Like Bond is bigger than Blofeld. I like Blofeld as a villain, but
Yeah, the guy
Bond
can
is
write
bigger
the
than
character off,
Blofeld.
like-
Yeah, so it was kind of an FU.
now see, I like the
There's a
scene
lot
a
of
little
that
bit
going
better
on.
now.
Okay, so with that context, maybe it does make a difference. I will say, generally speaking, I think the scene's a lot of fun. The idea of a remote control helicopter is absolutely, silly
that-
and goofy, but I thought it was great fun. I think the way Moore plays it off is fine. The stunt work's cool.
By the way,
I like
speaking of that scene, did you all notice where he was when it began? Nobody picked
Oh,
up.
Teresa's cemetery or
Trace.
Teresa's.
Oh,
He's at
yeah.
Tracy's
Oh, yeah, he went to see
tombstone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Tracy, that's right.
we're back at them mentioning it again. We go long periods of time where they don't mention her, but
There are like little comments about marriage here and there. But
yeah,
like I
like
said, they
yeah,
didn't
what
actually
I don't.
mention
One of the early Moore movies, the Russian Spy, Triple X. Which movie is that? Is that Live and Let Die?
I think so.
That's the spy who loved me.
The Spy Who. You're right. The Spy Who Loved Me. You're right. She says you used to be married. Blah, blah, so they did reference it there.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first time we'd had it referenced probably since
Moneypenny's jokes.
since Moneypenny's Joke, the movie after that.
And Diamond?
Is it? Yeah, in Diamonds. And then we haven't had it mentioned again until this movie. And then it's not mentioned verbally. It's just you see him standing at her gravesite.
Did you like that?
I did, actually. I like the reference back. Like which is kind of interesting, though, because, you kind of see Bond as like this almost cold-hearted when it comes to women, and he's still hung up. Makes you think that anyway. Like, he's still like, I love this woman.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
I think
yeah.
that's why they had to use Blofeld in that moment. They had to. He's the one
Yeah, 'cause
responsible.
let's say
He's
Just
the
for-
one.
just
That-
for closure.
Absolutely, it makes
Yeah,
sense to
It
connect
gives him that
those.
closure.
and he's the one that killed her.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He killed, and he's the one that knew they were married. Like, most of the villains don't know anything about Tracy.
Yeah.
But
I will
Blofeld
say
does.
this. I think noodling that scene out more makes me like it even more.
I agree with you, Barry.
Yeah.
I agree.
How do you feel, Ray?
I mean, I like it a little
fucking
bit.
fucking horse shit.
I mean, against smoke.
Sorry,
shots
Ray, what do you
for
think?
power.
I like it a little bit better now, but
Okay.
still kind of goofy.
I'm gonna hate love it.
There's a
Like,
level of
it's like-
goofiness there, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, knowing that it's like spiteful goofiness is a little different. Like, it's like,
It was just funny the way the wheelchair just goes.
Just- like,
Whoop.
And then like Blofeld pleading for his life.
Oh,
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that.
No.
He would not do that.
Did you guys hear what Blofeld yelled when he was on his way down?
What other
He
than,
offered.
Wait,
that-
Mr. Bond, we can work this out.
Yes, but he offered to buy him a deli
What?
with stainless
No, he
steel,
didn't.
with stainless steel appliances. He did too, because I watched the thing twice over about a week and a half.
I'll buy you a deli with stainless
He
steel
goes like,
appliances.
I'll buy you a delicatessen, and then he offers stainless steel. Or
No, he
something.
doesn't.
You guys, I'm
Oh
filming
my
you.
god!
Wow.
What the hell?
First
really
off, how
did
did I
fuck
miss that?
Blofeld.
And second
Very
off,
business
why?
minded to the very end.
The first time I watched it
I'll
without
set you with a
taking notes.
franchise.
Just as
Mr.
he was
Bond, I
falling
swear.
down the smokestack.
Yeah, well,
So it was too late then.
well
so why would he offer that?
before he goes, yes,
Wait,
he
I'll buy
definitely
you
this
a
that
delicatessen.
yes, that's happened,
Oh, $5 foot long.
and I know it did because the first time I watched it, I did not take notes, so I could just enjoy it. But then the second time I watched it, I did take notes and took note of that.
Well, I missed that.
Stainless steel.
Yeah, which doesn't sound like a bad deal.
I was gonna say
That would be an awesome deal.
like,
Yes.
You can place it in New York.
Now-
you'd be on to something.
But it leads to more questions. It's a crazy thing to say, right? Like, does James Bond have like some affinity
got
for
sandwich
cold
shops.
cuts or
He loves
something?
sandwiches, apparently.
He's like Joey from Friends.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I thought
Joey
that was
from
really
Joey.
weird. But yeah, check it out. He does say it.
Fair enough.
Wow, a delicatessen.
All right. Well, by the way, we had another ski chase scene in this
Oh my
movie.
god.
What is this, like
Yeah.
the fifth or sixth one we've had in these movies?
Boat, skis, and hose. That's all he's about.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
But I will say this:
Not that good on
it was
ski, but-
it was first off, I think it was the longest ski chase scene.
Totally
With a
80s.
sniper.
Totally 80s.
No, I was.
Yeah.
That's something I haven't brought up yet. We left the '70s in the dust very rapidly. This movie
it
is
was
very,
very
very
80s.
'80s.
Yeah.
Very '80s.
The,
Like I
the,
said,
the main song is super 80s.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
It's the
too.
embodiment of the 80s song.
Did you guys like that song?
It was okay.
It's fine.
I'm
Yeah.
indifferent toward it. I
Yeah.
thought the
What was it?
music title opener, whatever, pretty blah.
Middle of the road.
Yeah.
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 But it was nice to see Sheena Easton, who I did have, and she's looked better than she did in here. Not that she was ugly or anything, but I had a bit of a crush on her when I was about 8 or 9.
Fair enough. But what did y'all think of this ski chase scene?
I like the scene. I thought it was really like once again though we come to Bond only with one pole like toward the end and whatnot like just he's out skiing like the German champion who's there, like specifically for the whole event while getting shot at. Like it's
And he goes with the one ski, right?
yeah. I was gonna say like eventually only has the one. And like I said, but like you said, very '80s chase in the process.
Yeah.
Like you know the music that by the music that he's in no danger throughout the whole thing just because of how melodic it is. And then you see people like learning to ski, falling over in the like classic '80s line. Like
That was what movie was it? That was a callback to one of the other movies because they have a line of bicyclers standing together and they all fall over together.
oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. But once, yeah, like I said, you just kind of see stuff like that. But
They have another bird do a double take.
yeah, like the double takes in this movie and all that, or this franchise, really, like, in general. But no, I liked it. It was one of the better chase scenes I thought, especially once they got in the woods. I did like that. Like
They did some different things.
like
I mean,
the
they
little stuff with the ski pole. I thought that was clever.
they had them skiing down a mountain. They had them go off a ski jump. They had them go through the luge thing. They had them go through the woods. They were all over the place.
There was lots of good stuff in there. I guess I want to ask about the henchman Kriegler, the German fellow that was
Yeah.
mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good, you know, as far as a henchman goes. He did at points during this scene though. It's like he's supposed to be this wonderful winter athlete, right? But then like he can't make a jump for
gets-
some reason,
yeah.
and he ends up on his ass, which
He
is
gets
like, why did
outbonded.
that happen? I thought one of the most fun things was Bond trying to get away from, you know, his pursuers by going onto the giant ski slope, of course, but he has to stand in line and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dove
And
them
then
out
the
after
elevator
him.
closes and he
Yeah.
thinks he's gotten away, but then it opens back up. And I think the way people kept looking at his stuff, like he didn't have the right equipment.
No,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't.
So
supposed to
people
be
are
there.
like, what in the world are you doing here?
Yeah.
But nobody would say anything until the very end, but then it's like, fuck it, I gotta
You
go.
gotta go.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like
It was fun. And the
How'd you-
wire snap
Oh,
at the end, awesome. The little ping.
how'd you like that little piano sound they played every time somebody went off the ski jump?
I don't remember that
It
exactly,
was like,
but I
dun,
enjoyed
dun,
the
dun,
score
dun.
and
Yeah, every time
everything.
somebody went off of that thing, it
Was it?
was weird.
I enjoyed the whole thing up until the German got mad because his bike broke and then threw the bike.
Through the bike.
Yes.
Like to where I was like, all right, and Bond's just standing there watching. I was like, that whole scene could have been cut out.
Oh, I
Like,
like that. I think the
Oh,
only thing
yeah,
they
you
could
like
have
how
done
she-
better was make it
Just-
actually closer to hitting Bond.
Well, it's
Other
because they
than
were
that, it-
standing 50 yards
Yeah,
apart. He
there
wasn't
you
going to throw a
go.
bike
There's
that far.
No way he's gonna throw the bike that far.
Well,
He threw
yeah, but-
something else first too.
Yeah, he
Like, threw his
did.
gun or something
Right.
like that because it had been.
Yeah, he threw his
like-
gun after he ran out of bullets.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, there's your grown man throwing a temper
Well, his
tantrum.
gun was,
Like,
his
that's
gun
what it
barrel
is.
was all misshapen.
Yeah, that's what it
Crap.
was.
'Cause
Yeah.
he couldn't make a jump.
I
Like,
thought it was awesome that he picked up the bike, but I just think they should have shot it to where Bond was closer and it was
I
actually
mean,
a
it
danger.
was so far away, but I was just looking at him like the pussy. Like this is girl.
Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be great? Like if you're Bond though, and you're like, and then you know you're like, oh cool, the gun's jacked. I'm gonna be probably pretty safe. But then the fucker picks up the bike to toss it. That's pretty cool.
If it was Jaws, it'd get there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jaws
he
could make
he
that
threw
throw.
the damn thing.
Well,
out.
that's
His-
a interlude here. Jaws was supposed to be the henchman for this movie.
Really?
Oh, my
Yes, he was in the original script.
So he's gonna turn evil after he turned face?
I don't know, but he was.
I was gonna say.
And they decided not to use
I want
him.
a
Like
side
he just
story about how
redeemed
him
him
and
in
the
the
blonde got
Moonraker.
down from the
Yeah.
moon.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's what I
People
want.
wanna root
Like,
against him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they did hire some actors who were villains in other movies. I'll put a note in for that.
Oh, they're good at recycling people.
So they had
what'd
the
you know?
the main guy, the main villain in The Last Crusade, which was the person with the skier or the skater girl.
Christados.
Yeah. The dude
so
that said
Christados was the main villain in which one?
Last Crusade, Indiana Jones.
Cool.
And then let's see. Oh yeah, and then the villain from The Golden Child shows up in the elevator. My dear brother Noopsy.
Throwback. I haven't seen
Did
Golden
you-
Child in forever.
Is that it, Ray?
Let's see
I
here.
was gonna say because I have another one off the top of my head.
What's
Yeah.
yours? Go ahead with yours.
One of the villains from Game of Thrones is Klaus.
Wow.
It's the old man Lannister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
That's a good pickup on that one.
But speaking of the ski scene, in a more somber note, during the the luge track scene,
Oh, that's a great scene.
a 23-year-old stunt double died shooting that scene.
I could believe it. You have literally like a motorcycle on a luge track.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I could see some bad shit happening.
that was an awesome scene. One
It
of the
was.
coolest flipping just physical stunt scenes I've seen in a long time in a movie. The guts it would take to do that, and the timing and everything involved. Because there were scenes where there's no doubt these are all happening at once. They're all
Yeah.
going down
It's all
here
one
one after
shot.
the other.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is. I guess. Yeah, he wrecked. He was in the sled. And-
See, you would think it would have been the skier or the motorcyclist.
Yeah, but it was. He was in the
Okay.
sled, and they overturned it, and he busted his head and died.
Yeah, that's a great scene. I'm sorry
Yeah.
that happened.
Oh, yeah, it's a great scene, but yeah, I mean, I just heard that, and I was like, that's a bummer. I mean, he probably wasn't making dick for doing his job, just being a stunt double. He is 23 years old, had a lot of life to live, and passed away doing, so. I mean, not that I'm not trying to say it's easy or anything, but I mean, like, that's a regular thing people do. Like, it's an Olympic sport, like.
And then they didn't last until we have a luge scene in it.
You know what? While I was watching this movie, and it just occurred to me to ask it, all the winter sporty stuff reminded me so much of Lazenby's movie.
Majesties. Yeah.
And I don't know if they did that thinking of that, but a lot of similar aspects
Well,
going
they
on.
love ski scenes.
I'm
So
sure,
They
I'm
do
sure,
love a
I'm sure
fucking
they
ski
pulled from a lot of
scene.
different ideas.
they do love a
and all
good
that.
ski scene, and I want to say maybe all the Bonds have one. There might be one that doesn't have a ski scene.
I'll say this
Think
about
about it.
ski scenes. I would like a ski scene once every 4 or 5 movies.
Yeah, we've done too many here recently.
Yeah.
Because PB's got one. I think Daniel Craig.
Daniel
might be the
Craig's
only
got one. No, Daniel
He
Craig's
has-
got
Well,
one.
then they all have one.
Yeah.
They all
everybody's
have
got
one.
I think he's got one in
Well,
the.
does Dalton
I don't know
have
if
one?
Dalton does.
Dalton
though.
might not.
Dalton's got a snow scene in the Living Daylights, I think.
I know there's snow in Living Daylights, but does he
Because I
ski?
think
though?
they sled down in that cello.
yeah.
I think they slid. They
Did you just say a cello?
yeah.
Like
that's
the
that's
instrument?
one
Yeah.
Wait till we get there, Barry.
All right.
Yeah.
If you guys want to
I-
give more
I'm
shit.
gonna, no, I'm going to do with you in this because I've never
wait.
seen it.
Just
Okay.
I've never seen
Just
the Living
wait,
Daylights.
Barry.
Yeah.
But if I remember
You
right,
remember
they
that
slid down in
cello
the cello.
I would remember something
Yeah.
like that.
struck a note.
Interesting. This makes me look forward to Dalton more,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, for that, I like the boat scene though.
There's and that's more
Another one,
obsession
a
is
boat
boats.
scene.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
The
still,
boat
I
scene,
like that.
I
everybody's
just
got a
need to
boat.
reiterate, Roger Moore
Really?
is not writing these movies.
No, it's all on Moore. Like, he's
No,
the
he
face
is the
of it.
writer.
Like, he's
Yeah.
your Bond. Like,
So
no,
the
like-
boat scene,
yeah,
remind
no,
me.
I like well, when old boy finally captures what's her name, Milena and Bond, and they ties them up, and rather than off them, he's gonna like dump
Yes.
them in there, and he even like patches Bond's wound and all that because he like
Yeah.
wants them to get cut up on the reef so the sharks eat them,
Yeah.
which is real elaborate and all that. Like he's really, like I said, going all out for this, killing here.
I got to go back to it. Another great scene. There's so many great scenes in this movie. This is a great scene. I know you loved it.
How does the boat make it over the coral, but they don't? The
Well,
boat's heavier.
it's all fine. You don't
Well,
have
it's
to
because
worry too
it's-
much
it's
over
the,
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the drag.
It's
of-
the drag.
Yeah.
I've actually seen this in other movies too. I just
Like, it's fine, whatever.
But I mean, I guess it,
No,
it
there's
kind of
science
made it
behind
look
Barry.
a little like it was shallow.
They try as if you're, but
I mean,
that's
there was a
also, like,
deeper
then you
part,
see the
but-
slack, and yeah, they didn't do a good job showing it and all. But
I think the biggest problem I had with the scene wasn't that. It was that every time they wanted to, they just set up out of the water and took a breath and went back under again. And I'm like,
Yeah, so-
no.
well, and I think that was the part that made it look like Justin said. It made them look like they were like up here when really
Yeah.
the drag they'd be down here where
Right.
the reef is. Like,
You guys are breaking my heart.
where'd you think
No,
they
it
were?
was-
Barry, here's
I
my
thought
here's
the
my
scene
here's
was
my.
so great.
No,
I
no,
cool
love
scene.
no,
I think
It was a fine scene.
I love that
Like, I'm not
they
hating on
stood
it.
up there and they
We're talking about
knew what was
logistics.
going to happen, Bond and Melina, They
Well,
at least
Bond
Bond
knew.
knew what was
Bond
up,
knew, yeah,
and
like-
just watching that rope go away until they're
Well,
yanked
I mean,
off
if you
of there.
know
Which
that-
wouldn't feel good, by the way.
So
they were
good.
loosely
Oh,
tied
no,
up
it
in the first place.
As soon as he put his
Bond's
feet
hand
up
was
on
coming
that
out
reef,
as they were before they even
like
got
that's
in the
how I
water.
knew. Like, nope, you'd be shredded. Like, just like there'd be no way.
Yeah,
Yeah, that first.
I love that
hit.
scene.
It was a decent scene. I'm not hating on it, but I mean, like, it was just like I said, every time like they'd been underwater too long, one of them would just do a sit up and they'd be out of the water, take a breath, and go back under. I'm like, being drugged like that—that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Another thing, and I want to give Ray a chance because I'm real curious about Ray, but I thought more in this scene. You know, he was truly the rescuer during the whole scene.
Yeah.
Melina was just
Well,
along
oh,
for
yeah.
the ride.
He was
Absolutely.
already had a
he
plan.
was so
Yeah.
awesome, and I think you guys need to give your respect to Roger Moore. Ray, what do you think?
I don't think Moore's a bad Bond.
I don't know. I think there was a point where they're just like, okay, another boat scene, move on.
But this wasn't just another boat scene.
Yeah,
I mean, it was different. It was.
I mean, it was different, yeah, but
I will say this, off the top of my head, there's at least twice that I can remember Molina saves Bond's life.
Yeah, she.
And
It
this,
was like someone was coming up behind him while he was fighting, and she kills.
well, she killed both times with a crossbow. The ones I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The first time is when he's about to be executed at the pool with
Yeah.
the first bad guy, and she shoots him with the crossbow out of nowhere. He
Oh,
didn't even know she
yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
And the second time is when he's about to be found when they break into the compound, and again she shoots the guy with the crossbow, and then
Yeah.
Bond grabs him and pulls him into the building.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean,
No, I'm not again. I'm saying she
was a-
other than Triple X, we don't see this very often where a woman is capable and is helping Bond just as much as he's helping them.
So she was out for revenge.
Yeah.
Like, that's what- revenge. Like,
yeah, I like the little partnership they kind of formed. And yeah, she's awesome.
because then after this, it sets up well for the assault on the little tower hideout that they have. Like, which I thought that was great.
It was funny, and then
Like-
that whole scene was the movie The Kingsman copied that,
Oh, I believe it.
like almost
Like,
completely.
Maybe that's because I remember, because for some reason, I'll never watch it again. I didn't like it. I believe I watched The Kingsman a couple of years ago. And when I was watching For Your Eyes Only, I'm like, man, I've seen this before.
Yep, they copied
All
the whole
right.
thing. They
this
had a
looks familiar.
bad guy on a
I'm sorry you
plateau.
feel that way, Bear. That's the
Going
next
one way.
movie we're watching. Is
It wasn't awful.
It did
was-
make me appreciate like how many carabiners are in the gym, to where I was like, you know what, I really don't have as many as I would like to have. Like, just
By the way, if I'm sneaking up a mountain, I don't think hammering metal is
Oh,
going to be the
it'd
way I
so
sneak.
loud.
into stone.
Yeah,
Yes.
just
it'd be so
echoing
loud.
throughout the whole like canyon
Yeah.
area. Like,
I do believe, though, and
You just had to try to
again,
time it with
I
something.
paid
Yeah.
real close attention in my second watch. He was covering with cloth the hammer, whatever he was hammering with,
you're still putting
To-
metal and
to
stone.
deaden the sound, though.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to point it out. It's a good spy thing, right?
That would be
If-
all right.
If it
Yeah.
works. If it works.
Yeah.
Like, Mythbusters.
By the way, that guy though that tried to kill him on the side of the cliff,
Oh.
total moron.
yeah, ballsy
Yeah.
as shit. Like, I'm just gonna hold on to the rope, no lifeline, and I'm just gonna go down and just smack it with the gun. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Moron.
I thought he was
Moron.
gonna just slip and
Like,
die.
you
Like,
had a gun.
Yeah. Just wait for him to come back and shoot him.
or just,
Like,
even
Let him
if
peep
a
his
little
head
bit,
over there and just
like-
what's up, buddy? Pow.
Yeah,
it's
like
over.
your boss is gonna be so happy if you offed James Bond on the side of the cliff like that. Like, he's not gonna care. Like,
not only that, you could have called for backup. Like you could have been multiple of you with guns
they'd be
waiting
like,
on him.
hey,
Hey, can a couple of you guys tie a rope around you, and I'm gonna,
just at least
Yeah.
verify. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Like, let's take care of this. Like, that's
I
all.
believe Bond was screwed over by pigeons.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking rats with
pigeons
wings.
in a-
Like, just
On a random mountain.
None of which
Or
did a
plateau.
double take.
That's
They
true.
didn't do a
That's
double
true.
take, yeah.
they were off that bitch. Like, but no, then they assaulted the place and whatnot. Like I said, what they got the Italian dude up there and all that with Milena. So like,
Was the name Columbo? Yeah, Columbo.
Yeah. What did you guys think of Columbo? I thought Columbo was nearly as charming as Karen Bay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, you were
Corinne
right.
Bay is a very good
Yeah.
comparison. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I thought he was. I thought it was cool the way they did it at first. You thought he was the bad guy, and it turns out that he's not. I mean, he's not really a good guy.
He's a smuggler, but
Yeah.
not drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, he's very Karen Bay,
Yeah.
ultimately, where he's
Yeah.
down in some dirty business, but he's so
But
charming.
he's very practical about it. He's like, hey, I do bad stuff, but I don't do that. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, like, so. Yeah,
They're-
I really liked his character, especially then when he like offered him the drink, and then like he said no to him, so then he gives him his gun, and then it's like, oh, you're a brave person. We're like, well, so are you, and then he had the drink.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like the back and forth. I
kind of like that mutual respect thing. Like,
Yeah.
I could kill you and you could kill me, but we're not. So let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah, it was lots of fun.
And the first thing they do together is go kill a bunch of guys.
Like, I told him, it was like, we're gonna be great friends after this, and like, yeah, we're true. Like, because then he gets to sponsor the 16-year-old after all of it, apparently.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah.
But I love that the Russian and everything. As soon as like they show up with the chopper, the stuff he tosses the coder, the alt whatever off this.
The
Oh, the
ATAC.
ATAC?
Yeah, he tosses it off, and the Russian just laughs. It's like
Have we
got
ever?
me. Like, and I
have
was
we
like,
ever
I
had a-
love that.
any-
I love it. It's like, yeah, just have a good day. Nothing happened. Yeah, it's like that sub was never there. I never saw a thing. I was
Which, you know,
love
I
it.
don't know if, well, they probably wouldn't know unless, I think Gogol is the Russian
Gogol,
guy's name.
yeah,
He appeared
Gogol.
at least in a couple at this point.
I think
Kind of a
this-
cool character. I
he'll be
like
back.
him.
It's either. I think it's his third movie, isn't it?
like, yeah,
Yeah, it
and
could be.
he'll be back again. in
Yeah.
The next one,
yeah.
And,
I like his
which
character.
he has a slightly bigger role in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that the British, you know, politicians or whoever would have been that pleased with Bond unnecessarily destroying this important piece of equipment.
It
Well,
was.
he was,
it
and
was
he
about.
had
He
to
could
make
have
a
just said,
decision.
"Fuck you, Gogol."
Well, it was.
Well, no,
it was
but
about
But his
him
man,
not-
but
It was
Gogol's
a
man
gun.
had a machine gun.
Yeah,
Like it was. I mean,
wasn't so much
Although
about
he
them
was trying
getting
to
it
stop
back.
this guy from shooting Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he-
that's not
Because
Gogol's
he was just going to
nature.
shoot him.
Gogol's a man of peace. No matter what you think of the dirty Soviets, he was a man of peace.
I mean, he was, but you don't think killing one man to get what he wanted would.
I don't know that he would have done that.
He was, I think once he realized it was Bond, he wasn't prepared
Well,
to shoot.
I think
and like I
so.
said, too, once it was off the cliff, it's done.
Right, but this is an important. Remember what this does.
Yeah,
It
but it's not-
commands the British submarine fleet to fire and where. Right,
But it was all
so
about
it's
not.
pretty damn important.
But it was about just not letting the Soviets have it,
right. Well,
and that's all it
I mean,
was.
yeah,
to where it's like
'cause
it
in
doesn't.
that moment,
Like we know how to command our own fleet.
Yeah,
I can't
Bond
let
is
you
faced
have
with
it,
the
and I can't let
decision.
you know that
Yeah.
I've been spying on
So
you
he
for
has
X
to.
amount of time in this sea.
Right.
Like, cause that's what the whole thing was about. Is like we've been illegally spying on you and like decoding your stuff for so long. We have to hide the fact we've been doing it.
Right.
And it's like he's sitting there pretending, like, oh, you got me. I got no proof. Like,
well, when Bond throws it off, he says, I think the word's détente, which basically means an easing of hostilities. So
it's right.
It is.
he
because of
spells
that-
it out for
I
us.
don't
Yeah.
have it, you don't have it.
Well,
Right.
there's nothing to get mad about now.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I got nothing. Like, but that's
It's an interesting choice.
I
though.
I think
like the
Gogol
the
finds
dynamic.
Bond humorous.
oh,
Mhm.
definitely. You
Mhm.
can tell. Yeah, he definitely. Like, but I think he's playing on a higher level than Bond. So then to see Bond have to it's like Bond's a pawn playing this game that world leaders are doing. Like it's
and
like
giving
ah,
no shits.
yeah,
Yeah.
like and that's what I think. That's why he's amusing to him. Is like the British one got me. I'm like all right,
Yeah.
but I like that. Like I said, it's almost like it's almost like you have a rival and not an enemy.
It was the right choice for the scene. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. To where it's like, hey, we're gonna pretty much be locked in a rivalry forever.
Right.
You're not gonna get away from it. Like, whereas like if this was a finite war, it's like someone has to be a winner.
It's like the James Bond movies, for a lot of them, are trying. They'll recognize there is this Cold War, but they're trying to make it a little bit friendlier,
Yeah.
which is fine.
yeah.
Well, I mean, Gogol and Bond. I mean, they worked a mission together.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as M and Bond worked together, I guess. I mean, Gogol was Triple X's handler, and they were in what was Egypt together.
Yeah. Showed up there in person and all that.
Yeah.
And praised him. Like I said,
Yeah.
I like that we see more of that character and more of those types of players. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It puts a different dynamic onto it, especially like I said. Then when you see them have these little parts in movies where like, yeah, you fooled the plot. Like it's all right. There'll be others. Like gotcha. Like I said, it literally is just a game that doesn't end. Like
I agree. Well,
I had two things I wanted to ask about, if it's okay.
oh yeah,
One
absolutely.
is the
Yes, you did.
Contessa. What do you guys think of this character? I liked her a lot. First of all, beautiful woman. And the actress, I found out at the time that she's in this movie, guess who she was married to? Well, I won't make you guess. She was married to Mr. Pierce Brosnan.
No shit.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I'll be damned.
But anyway, I think she was a lovely woman, and I like that character, who I think she did just completely forget her purpose with Christados, and just decide I love James Bond. I'm just gonna stick with this.
Oh
cat.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he
and she paid with her life, unfortunately.
Yep. dune
But
buggy to the head.
yeah, did you like this character?
I did like the character. I mean, I thought it was a good turn. Like I said, even up to the very end, you didn't. I still expected her to screw him over in some way, even when they
I
were in the
kinda
little
did
beach
too.
house. Yeah, like, but I liked that as a character because that does speak to where like she leaves you guessing. Like, so it shows good character development. But yeah, man, they didn't cut away when you see her face hit that windshield and everything. Like, yeah, she's dead. Like that's
Yeah,
and then Bond rushes over really quick. I'm like, yeah, it's over, man. Like,
But what the hell was she doing? That was the
just
part.
decided
it
to
wasn't
run.
a good
I'm
escape
like,
plan.
why would you run
No.
away from Bond, who is gonna be able to save you if you stay with him?
Not only that, but he ran up that big hill, so
Yeah.
thinking
So
the
the
car
dude-
couldn't
yeah.
get up it.
Yeah, but
She
that did stall
runs.
out that one. She ran down on the beach, and that's where.
That's what
he
I'm
got-
saying. Why the hell did she do that? That was dumb.
Yeah, unless you're gonna go into the ocean, like, which, all right, go tread water, I guess. But like, you
Right.
may get shot. Like,
I mean, you should have just kept going after you went up the hill. You should have just kept going back in the house,
yeah,
and then you could
like,
pin the house together. It was weird. It was a weird. I don't know. I guess she just panicked.
it's not what the script
Yeah, it
called
wasn't.
for.
Yeah, she didn't do a
Like-
good job. And I wanted to mention the Lotus again. I think it was nice to see the Lotus again in this film. I do want to say that the burglar alert system is
It's a little
Oh
a
my
bit
God.
impractical. You know, that your car explodes if somebody tries to open it and it's not you.
I'm sure you
know?
could disarm it real quick in some
Um,
way, or you shouldn't
Yeah,
have
they
opened
should
it
have
that
taken
way.
a page
like,
out of Batman's book. It just shocks you.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
of that. But it was.
In one of the
fine,
movies, it
was funny.
does, doesn't it?
Oh, I have
Oh,
no doubt.
electrocutes him?
But
Yeah, like there's electric shock in the
It
car.
might be.
There
Yeah.
it is. But then they get that sweet Italian ride where they can flip it over with just a couple village people and all
yeah,
that.
it's
Like,
picturing the
how
French
many,
car.
How many times did that thing roll over in this movie?
Yeah. Well,
Like, for
Well,
real, and
they helped
still,
a lot of people collect a lot of nuts.
yeah, like, it's great for harvest season. Like,
Just roll
Yeah,
it
especially
down,
all
down the hill.
Bond's women.
yeah, like,
that car, it's like the epitome of a French car and like the most popular car in France ever. And I believe it has
such a beating.
4 horsepower, I think is the
Wow.
number I heard.
4 whole horses.
But pretty funny car for a Bond chase scene, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really well done too. I think it's a lot of fun.
I believe the French have a 4 horsepower car. Like, it's,
By the way, this is just my personal opinion, so obviously anybody's feel free to disagree. But I really like the white car better than the red one.
It's a better looking car.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the red one, but the white one's classier in some way.
Yeah, I liked it better. And I just mean the car. I didn't mean like the submarine and all that stuff.
Right.
I just meant like the look of the car.
yeah, but I think they did that just because of where they went. Because then you have like the red like stand out more.
Yeah, I could think it's funny that anybody would be dumb enough, and maybe this happens, but the Lotus Esprit would not be my choice to take out on snowy roads.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Speaking of the White Lotus, when Bond goes into Q's, I don't know, what do you call it, workshop or whatever, to go use the facial recognition software,
Yeah, the 3D
Yeah,
printing.
the identigraph.
Dentograph. There you go, Barry.
Instagram.
When they walking through, you can see like things going on in the background. The White Lotus is sitting over there.
Yeah.
And I think we'd probably not be happy with ourselves if we didn't discuss Locke to a small degree at least.
Yeah.
The main villain. I can't remember his full name, but his last name is definitely Locke. Yeah, kind of forgettable. I mean, he did what he needed to here and there, but I was kind of indifferent toward him. And I think
I was
that kind of
say-
speaks
Yeah.
to the character.
Yeah, like I said, I was
There's
more.
not much to say.
I was,
Yeah.
more, I was more interested in the Dove and some of the
Yeah.
other side villains and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's as part of the.
Well, Locke was the dove, wasn't he?
No, Dove was the guy with the square glass that was the assassin.
Yeah, they have. He is.
Yeah. Well, that was Locke, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the main bad guy is Christostos or whatever.
Yeah, the
Right.
guy that looks like
Who's
the guy
not
in the
the
Iron
Dove.
Curtain.
I don't think.
No, the dove is the guy, the assassin.
Yeah, who Bond kicks over in the
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yes.
You're all about that kick, Barry. Like, it's like
I think the kick's overstated as a Bond, assault, but he did kick the car over. So I want to make sure I understand because I thought I did. So Locke is the Dove,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
I almost feel like they overloaded the movie with side villains because they started to make it like a video game where it's like his side villain.
Like,
Then we got the hockey bums, and then we got the robot man in the water. Then we got the Megazord at the end, and it's just out of control.
Yeah.
There is a lot of like henchmen in this movie. Like if you were to pick a henchman from this movie, I think you might struggle to pick out which one.
The most memorable one was Kriegler, the German biathlete,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Well, I mean, the one they made you the most scared of is Locke, though.
yeah,
Like they talked him up for the first half of the movie of how deadly he was and how great he was, but then Bond kills him like the first season or the first time they really interact.
Yeah, he didn't do a lot. He kind of like just rolled around on machinery.
Yeah.
He was all right. We didn't mention the underwater scene until just a moment ago. I think that maybe it went on a little bit too long. They maybe could have cut it down a couple of minutes.
We're talking
Agreed.
about when they're getting the little graph
When
thing,
Melina,
Or when they're vacuuming.
no.
Yeah.
when we're actually doing archaeology.
I mean, you got to tidy up down there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that when she hid that arrow or her bow and arrow down there and shit.
And she hit her tanks.
Yeah, the
Yeah, and
tanks.
how
That
did
I
they
mean the
know
tanks.
They would be
Yeah.
drugged along.
Yeah, she knew that they were
the-
getting
the
kidnapped, so
coral
she
reef to
so
go
she
down
hid her
to the
tanks
jack-
down
Perhaps
there.
She just has extra
Yeah, that shit
tanks
was
for
kind of
work.
slick though.
It's possible.
And she just hid it under this ocean, Barry.
It just happened to be in the
Well,
spot that they
I don't
got
wanna-
free from the boat.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was.
I think
early-
Tom has an answer for
Yeah, I
this.
think they tried. They tried making an excuse for that when she was already went back down there and doing archaeological stuff and all that. Like, it was still an active site. So I think it was supposed to be like, yeah, there was gear just
This is my
there.
gear.
Yeah, to where.
And we leave it underwater instead of taking it back up to the boat.
I'm not
No,
saying
your
it's
your
not-
excuse doesn't hold water powers.
I'm just saying, like I say, it goes,
If you were
it's Bond
returning to
writing.
that site,
It's Bond
They
writing.
didn't know they were
Because they go,
taken.
they go,
and
out,
put
but the thing is,
behind
they
the boat
go,
that was
they go
traveling.
out of the way so many times to prove that it's still an active site. That's supposed to give you the illusion that people leave gear around.
So I'm gonna jump out of a boat, swim to the bottom of the ocean to put my air tanks on.
well,
No,
no, maybe they're just extras. Well,
That's Bond logic.
I'll just.
it wasn't
give
Bond that did it. It was Melina.
I'll just
Yeah,
give it
Bond
to you.
Bond
like,
movie
come on.
logic. Yeah.
I don't know
Bond
that I
movie.
agree, but I'll just give it to you that it doesn't make any sense,
I'm not
but
saying
I'm
it's
still
logical.
okay with it.
Like,
But the scenes with Bond and Melina in the sub and
Oh,
retrieving the ATAC and things, did we like that?
No,
Okay, I liked
Um,
about 8 minutes of it, but I think there was probably another 5 minutes that I didn't need.
well I'll say this. I wouldn't say I disliked the whole thing. Them going down there and originally trying to look through the sub was fine. The robot man was over the top for me.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden this giant robot
was-
man shows up
I was
and he's
waiting
able
for
to
that
crush
scene to be used,
everything,
though.
but only with his hand. And I don't know. It was so weird.
I think if
Like-
the suit was styled a bit differently, you may feel differently
my thing
about
was,
it.
I wasn't worried. Like the suit was fine. Give me the suit or give me the little drone thing that was trying to destroy the sub, but don't give me both.
I see. Yeah, that
That's
makes
true,
sense.
too.
Like
Yeah.
I said, I think it was overkill because they already foreshadowed the suit earlier because they showed it in the background. They talked about how it can go around at these depths and do X, Y, and Z. So it's like you've already pretty much told me you're going to use this later on in some way. So I knew it was either going to be like the good guy or bad guy wearing it based on this scene. But then from there, it's like, well, then you just gave me that when the main thing is a pincher claw. Don't give me the same thing again, just in droid form or
You're
whatever.
absolutely right.
Like
It
we
didn't-
just had this fight 3 minutes ago. Why are we doing it again? Like that was how I thought it got drawn on too long.
And by the way, I'm no submarine expert, but usually when water starts coming into them, you're fucked. I would assume. Like
Yeah.
they poked a hole in it and water was coming in, and that's the point where Bond decided I can win this fight. Then defeats them submarine to submarine style, and then drives the submarine home. And the water stops at some point. Like it just stops coming in. I don't think that's how it works.
There was a system in place that he used to get the water out and so forth, and I think he even to some.
Barry, you're grinning because you
here's
know
my
it's
thing
horseshit,
with-
man.
I think that if this was Sean Connery doing this,
He would just plug that.
I
thing
think
up
you'd be
and drive
telling.
on.
I think you'd be
Like,
saying how
just-
awesome it was.
No, I watched
Stuck some gum in
Thunderball.
Yeah.
That was they didn't have no stupid shit like that.
Are you
Well-
joking?
Well, what I'm saying is, it would have made much more sense for them to get out of the water-filling submarine and swim up. Not, oh, I'm just going to drive it up now, even though it's got a hole in it.
The water all emptied from the. But, you
But-
know, we'll pretend it didn't.
But
But if we notice here in recent history, rich white people don't know how to run submarines underwater.
Oh,
oh, that's too soon, Ray.
I've been
Too
waiting
soon.
No,
to
it's
crack
not.
that one open. It's not too soon, but that was good timing, Ray. Did like that one. Like,
You're welcome.
That might be old by the time we release this episode.
Yeah,
that's rehash that.
planning
down.
for the future.
Yeah.
But that's how I think it went on too long. Is that you did the same thing twice in a short amount.
Absolutely.
Of
If they would have
That's
just
all it
left it,
was.
and there were actually parts
Like,
of the original plan with the guy in the suit where it was definitely shot and scored like a horror film. Where it
Oh,
was like,
yeah, I can
you
see
know,
that. Well, just because of the way it's.
And I thought that
presented.
was really well done and kind of
Yeah.
a different little thing for a Bond movie.
No, because well, you were supposed. Yeah, I get you were supposed to be this unstoppable monster and everything in
Yeah.
the depths. To where I was like, but then don't give me
We
the
don't-
same thing again.
Yes,
Like,
you're absolutely right.
yeah.
Did both those guys end up dying? The bad guys?
Well, yeah.
One
the
of
guy
them
in the suit was a
blew up.
grenade.
Oh yeah.
Bond connected a
Yeah,
explosive
that-
device to his helmet, and
Yeah.
then the second guy he got crammed into some rocks or something.
He got crammed into the hole in the ship.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I thought,
that's right.
yeah, but yeah.
And then that like started breaking open because remember all he did was like put it in reverse and it just ripped off the pincer arm.
Yeah.
Bond had the bigger vehicle, so it just went away. But
Yeah.
yeah, which once again anticlimactic and everything. But you've already given me an explosion. Like, don't just like wedge this little bastard in here and drive off. Like,
It was like, well, we built
Yeah,
this thing, so we
yeah.
have to use
like
it.
yeah, it really just seemed like that's what it was. To
Yeah.
where it's like you already gave me a decent little battle and like an explosion. End on a high note. Like you're fucking it up. Like, but no, that's all I have on that one.
Fair enough. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about before we wrap up this portion?
nope, not me.
Ray's got notes.
Lots of them, I think.
The sound effects and music kind of reminded me of Police Academy.
I'll go with that.
It had been around the same time period, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
See that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'll
I
just
can
stop
see
I'll
there.
buy it.
Some good
I haven't seen
Academy.
Police Academy since I was quite young, but I'll totally buy it.
Quite enjoyable.
I like the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's it. I think I'll end in there.
Barry, you got anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Well, I think that will end our talking about the movie portion of this episode and move us into our rankings. So, firstly, let's talk about body count. I have 2 as our body count in this movie. I mean, BB tried to make it 3, but I have 2. Anybody?
So,
No, I think I've got 2 along with you.
Yeah.
All right. So 2 it is. So that would be 31 through 12 movies. I think we're slowing down. I feel like we were right on the verge of getting 3 a movie. And
War's kind of
Yeah.
old.
You're getting 3
Vitality
there and all. And like you said, he had 2 with an option.
yeah, I mean,
Just like,
yeah, an option of, you know,
hey, there's 2 with an option.
yeah,
Don't
well,
have to say
I'm not
anything.
going to title on that anymore. All right. Well, I think that moves us into Bond girl territory. And so, guys, I guess I'll start with Barry. Where do you have Melina on the Bond girl list?
All right, you're going to have to let me talk this out for about 10 or 12 seconds because I haven't considered it greatly. Again, I'd like to point out
I don't
that
like-
this is not my list.
It's not my list either, or
I'm
his list, or his
playing-
list, or his
But
list.
this is-
Upon with
Pictures
all
back
of us.
up, right?
This is
Bring the
very
pictures
much,
back up.
though,
Like,
your
let's see
guys.
what
This
we
is very
got. Like,
consistent with where you guys would rank. and it's not for me. So I just want to make sure this is where I rank based on others' preferences. I put Melina.
Barry or Ray, can you get those pictures back up?
I sure can.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
'Cause I'm not gonna like.
Melina's
I like Melina.
awesome. She's a great character.
I like Melina. Yeah.
I don't
And I thought
personally find her to be quite as beautiful as some of the ladies on the upper tier, but obviously she's a lovely woman.
well, she's no solitaire, sure.
I would place her at number 6, moving Tanya down. So right after Goodnight for me.
That's exactly where I was going to put her, Barry.
Sweet, man. We never agree.
Oh, no, that was good. I like it. 6 is where I was going to put her.
Sorry it took me a while to get
I haven't told Ray that before we started recording. Tom, Justin, Ray, anybody else have a thought?
Yeah, I had her at 7.
7?
Close.
Ray, Tom, anybody?
Tiffany case down.
We're not doing algebra here, guys.
Explain the 7, because
I just thought that to me Tatiana looks better. Tiffany case is okay, but there's the exoticness of Melina is what
and that's
got me there.
that Italian.
or Greek. Or
Greek,
whatever
yeah.
What is she really? Is she?
I think her last name is like Bouquet, so she
It
might even be
is.
French. I don't know.
Oh, in that case, she should go.
But I don't
20,
know.
26. Just
She's French.
26 it is.
I want to say I think it's unfair
7.
that I think there has to be a better picture of poor Tiffany Case out there, Ray. I mean, are we trying to make her look 70? What are we doing here?
That's a picture from the movie.
Yeah,
That's from the movie.
That's a still shot. Like
you guys
it's
know.
from the movie.
I mean, you
I'm
guys know that's not.
No,
the best
this is
picture of her.
this is what we thought of when you were talking about how she was the most beautiful woman in the world or whatever you said,
Yeah.
and we were all going, "Why?"
I'm not
With
getting the blue.
solitaire,
Yeah.
That's not her best.
No, hold on.
It's
I'm
from
not
the
getting.
movie.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not getting
hold
the
on.
blue
Now
Nike
that-
and all that.
Now
like-
that Barry said something, it does look like she's at an office Christmas party.
Yeah. Well, in like 1972. Yeah.
she looks like the witch from the Salem Sisters.
I'm just
and all
saying
that.
there's
Like-
got to be a better picture.
So, Ray, Tom, do you guys have a vote here? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 6. I think that's probably a good spot.
So that's
like-
almost
I like
all
6.
6s. So,
Yeah, I'll go
Justin, you
6.
willing to come up to 6?
Yeah.
All right. So that was a very easy ranking there. Once Tom and Ray decided to talk, so we got a 6 for.
It was more about does she beat Tatiana? That was the argument. Like
Well, I thought we ranked Tatiana too high anyway, so I was okay with putting her above her. So, yes, that'll end our Bond girl rankings for the day and move us into the movie itself. Where do we want to rank the movie? Barry, do you have it in mind yet, or do I need to be moving on?
Can you come back to me?
Yeah, Justin, do you want? I have mine if I need to say it if nobody else is
You
ready.
go ahead with yours, because I'm.
All right, well, mine is going at 7.
Okay, never mind. That's where I was at.
all right, why,
'Cause
why you're 7?
I think this is his and Moore's
Yeah.
second best movie behind The Spy Who Loved Me.
It's definitely better than Golden Gun.
Yeah.
I did like it better than Golden Gun.
So I'm putting it at 7 behind The Spy Who Loved Me.
I think I can get behind that. I can go with 7.
It says 3 7s. There you go.
Go ahead, Barry. Say number 1.
Well, I would never put it at number 1, but I would probably put it a little higher than you guys, but I'm certainly not going to quarrel with 7 for this movie.
Fuck yeah, I have no problem with 7.
Would you put it at 3?
I would probably put it behind Dr. No.
Like every movie we've done after that.
Above Russia.
But I'm not. I understand placing it at 7 completely.
It's like we're playing this part on repeat.
For your eyes
It's like, so next movie may be different. Next movie he might put it number 1, but every movie I say, Barry, where do you want this? And he goes, ahead of From Russia, ahead of From Russia, ahead of From Russia. This time he changed it up and said under Dr. No, but it's the same spot.
It's all rebranding.
Yeah. So are we agreeing on 7 then?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's better than I expected for it from you guys.
Yeah, I like For Your Eyes Only. I have always liked For Your
I
Eyes
enjoyed
Only.
it.
For Your Eyes Only and Spy Who Loved Me, I think are Moore's two best movies,
Yeah, that's
in my
the next one
opinion.
that's
Like I really like
cool
those two
looking.
movies.
Justin's got no patience.
Well, the
for
last two,
octopus.
his last two, I struggle with. I mean, yeah. I struggle
Yeah,
with them.
I mean he's got two more coming, and yeah, we'll get there. Um, but yes, so that will rank For Your Eyes Only at 7, behind The Spy Who Loves Me, and ahead of Live and Let Die. So we appreciate you tuning in for this For Your Eyes Only episode. We would appreciate you tuning in next week for our Octopussy episode. Thank you, Tom. I completely blanked there. Our Octopussy episode. So another Roger Moore Bond next week. And thanks for listening to Blockbuster Bums.